The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Geneva, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast without the breaks and commercials. Now, here's host Dom Geneva.
Well, welcome everybody to a special edition of the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Geneva, your host, every Saturday right here on News Radio Wham 1180. And like I like to tell everybody, all of our shows are on nononsenseroundtable.com. Now, this show today, I call it a special show because the induction ceremony for the Rochester Music Hall of Fame, a wonderful thing, is coming up on May 5th. And tickets are still available. And I'm featuring 4 former inductees of the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. All Rochester guys. Some of them live closer to here than others, quite frankly. And I have on the phone with me probably the most famous and the most Rochester guy of the guys that I have on the show today. And who I'm talking about is Gene Cornish. Now, Gene Cornish, for those few of you who don't know Gene was one of the co-founders of the Rascals. And the Rascals back in the day were, I would say, just as popular as the Beatles. Good lovin', It's a Beautiful Morning, groovin', People Gotta Be Free. People still remember these songs from years ago. They've woven their way into the American culture. And not only is Gene a member of the Rochester Music Hall of Fame, but he is also a Grammy winner and a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm proud to say that Gene, over the years, because he was on the show a while back, has become my friend. Gene, I would like to have the honor of calling you my friend.
Thank you, Dom. How's everything going? How's the weather up there?
Gene, it's a concrete sky, as Nita likes to say. It's a concrete sky. But Gene, how you doing? Tell us a little update since we last talked to you. I think you're coming here to play in July, right?
August 29th.
August 29th. Okay. So the thing about Gene is that you really do identify as a Rochester guy. Your love of, especially like the Red Wings, is legendary.
Well, I'm number 14 on that team now.
Yeah,
got my own jersey. Naomi gave me my own jersey.
Yeah, we had Gene Cornish Day a little while back. It was very well attended. People love you. The thing about Gene, and I'm going to speak a little bit for him, when he comes to Rochester, he's a Rochester guy. I mean, we'll go to Don's Original, and the thing the kind of a touching thing. The last time we were there, Gene says, "Well, these burgers taste just like the hamburgers that I had with my dad, God rest his soul, years ago." And then you'll make a visit to, of course, the Red Wings, and then the House of Guitars, right?
Yeah, we do the House of Guitars. We do Priority's Italian restaurant.
Yeah,
I get to see Pat Priority, which is an old music compadre.
Yeah.
From the days in high school.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been friends, which I really admire since you were, basically young boys, right?
Well, he's the second oldest friend I have. My oldest friend is George Sokolsky.
Oh.
He lives in Brockport. We went to grammar school together.
And you went to high school?
Ben Franklin High School.
Oh, Ben Franklin High School, yeah. We went for a ride when he was here a year ago. And you like visiting all the old places, don't you?
Yeah, listen, I used to go to Andy's over there, Eddie's Corner. Different places like that, little restaurants, and Savoy's Bakery.
Oh, Savoy's Bakery, yeah. And the Swilladels and the tricolor cookies are your favorite.
Oh, that was you who got them, yeah. you made me a wonderful dinner of white clam sauce.
The clam sauce, yeah.
Yeah, me and Chuck Percotta.
Yeah. I try to get as many as you guys into my kitchen as I can. I had Jack Allocco had he put in an order for chicken piccata, which I made for him. Now the thing is that you're inducted as in the initial, which you should be because of your reputation, Hall of Fame back, and I think it was 2012, and that induction ceremony was really great. I mean, Pat gave a presentation on that you laugh your tail off about it.
You know, I had to have a share of that whole episode with Pat, because we started together in Rochester, and it meant a lot to me to have him there.
Yeah, he was talking about you guys all had yellow yellow outfits or yellow tuxes or something like that. At Bowman, at a place called Beansies, right?
We ordered from Saxony or Towncraft in New York through the mail order in the Union magazine, green tuxedos. But we had different tuxedos. We had red ones, blue ones, yellow ones. Yeah, we had a ball.
Yeah, well, in the day too, you guys were unique, the Rascals, because you dressed in knickers. I guess the story is there was somebody found one and then bought a bunch of bought somebody else all the knickers that the store had. Right? Is that it?
Yeah. Eddie Brigatti came to rehearsal wearing the knickers as a joke. It was our first or second day rehearsal up in Pelham, New York, at Felix Cavalier's family's home.
Well,
he said that he was down on Orchard Street, down the Lower East Side, and they went in and they saw these knickers, and they were from the 40s. They were brand new. Had dust on them, and said, how much for the guy said 50 cents. So how much for the whole bunch? He said $6. So it didn't matter what size they were. He took them all, and I found a pair that fit me, and boy, they were hot. they were like tweed.
Well, the thing is, you could go on YouTube right now, and you can see the YouTubes from the videos from Ed Sullivan, and there you guys are in your knickers, more than once. I think my favorite story is the story about how you guys were at Shea Stadium when the Beatles were there, and I guess it was your manager put a posting on the scoreboard that said that the Rascals are coming. That's
that was Sid Bernstein. He was the promoter of the show. He just signed as our manager, and we were sitting in the visit dugout at Shea Stadium, and waiting for the Beatles to come on, and it was the Ronettes and Sound Incorporated and Hannibal and the Headhunters and all these different acts. And finally, when the Beatles came on, just before they came on, he decided he would just do a little promo. Nobody knew who we were. And Brian Epstein, their manager, threw a fit. He a hissy fit.
I could imagine.
If you don't take that off the board right now, the Beatles are not going to go on.
Well, the thing that people have to realize about the Rascals is that was the day of the English, the English music and and the Beatles and whatever, and you guys for a time were pretty even with the Beatles. I mean, it was a big deal. The Rascals were a big deal back then.
Yeah, we lucked out pretty good. We got to meet Brian. He became a fan. He came to the studio. Got to meet Paul in London. Got to meet George at his home in London.
Yeah, God bless you.
What wonderful memories.
Yeah. And you're a Rochester guy. I think I don't say anything you wouldn't say yourself. You in your heart are a Rochester guy, right?
That's my hometown. Even though I was born in Canada, I grew up in Rochester. I got my chops, built my chops there, learned how to play. Played with Pat Pride at the 414 Club on Ridge Road, Stardust Ballroom, Edgerton Park. For Tony DeLuca, who should be in the Hall of Fame, he was the promoter who would have us play with all these opening acts.
Well, Gene, we're running out of time, and I am honored to call you a friend. And God bless you for the things you've done and who you are. And I hope to see you. We'll see you if not sooner. We'll see you in August when you're up here playing.
I'll definitely see you and Naomi and Tracy Croft and Pat Prietti and everybody.
You got it, buddy. Well, you take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We'll be right back to talk more after this.
The greatest Jeff Beck tribute band ever assembled is taking your tour across America. Celebrate the music of legendary guitarist Jeff Beck, Saturday, April 20th at Fort Hill Performing Arts Center. Led by Grammy-nominated and Boston Music Hall of Fame guitarist Johnny A. Beckola, celebrating the music of Jeff Beck in the near-perfect acoustic setting that is Fort Hill Performing Arts Center in downtown Canandaigua, April 20th. Get your tickets now at forthillpac.com.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Martinizing Dry Cleaners in Fairport. During COVID days, I discovered a dry cleaner that would pick up and deliver. I discovered Martinizing in Fairport. I later discovered that the owner, Todd, was an ex-corporate employee who went on to start his own business just like I did, and his customer service is beyond compare. Google rating 4.9 with 143 reviews. 4.9. Call 425-4242 or martinizing.com/Fairport. Well, everybody, the person I have on the phone right now is somebody who is a prior inductee of the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. Deserved, and everybody's going to know his name. His name is Jeff Tyzik. And Jeff, I know you're a conductor, composer. What is your official title at the RPO?
Well, my official title at the RPO is Principal Pops Conductor, which means that I pretty much am in charge of the Pops series, constructing the series, working out who the artists are going to be, what are the programs. But what I do with the orchestra also goes far beyond that, because I'm also involved in many other aspects of concerts that we do. I'm also appearing on the Philharmonic series maybe every other season. And actually, for the last 3 seasons, it's been every year. And then we do other kinds of projects, like the one that we just pulled off, this huge, amazing, and I must say, I'm happy to the fact that it was a very successful and well-attended concert, the Eclipse Spectacular, which we just did basically 10 days ago in the Blue Cross Arena, and I'm still flying up into the moon right now over that concert.
Well, as you should be. I have to say that the performance, the venue that you had, and the presentation was spectacular. I mean, it was. I use the word joyful. I mean, so anybody who was there will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody who wasn't there, explain the different things that you had there and how you came to the thought of the thing, because it really did cut across a lot of demographics from old to young.
Well, that one concert, I think, told the mission statement of the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra, in that we are very inclusive in the Rochester community. We want people from every part of our community, from every economic, socioeconomic strata coming. We want everybody from 4 years old to 104 coming to our concerts. And we tried to do that in that concert, where it started off just as a simple idea. Deb Ross, who was head of the Eclipse Task Force, came to us and said, "Hey, how would you guys like to perform a concert for the Eclipse weekend?" And James Berry, our artistic VP, came to me and said, wouldn't it be great also maybe if you could write some kind of a piece that we could premiere on that concert? So we thought about putting it in the Eastman Theater, and the more we discussed it and who we wanted to include, including these wonderful Cirque performers, Troupe Vertigo, who have been to Rochester many times, Rochester City Ballet, Push Physical Theater, the Madrigalia Choir, and the orchestra. And we wanted to do visuals and special lighting. And I just realized that with the amount of people that were supposed to come to Rochester, the Eastman Theater was going to be too small. So we said, what if we put this in the arena, the Blue Cross Arena? And it just took off from there. And we got involved. These great lighting companies from Rochester who travel all over the United States doing concerts that right here in town. We got Mark Webster, a composer who does these incredible graphics. We got so many people involved. And every person we talked to said, what an amazing event. Let's see what we can come up with. So the ideas just kept flowing and flowing. And it was like a snowball just coming down a mountain. You could not stop this no matter what. And to imagine that we could pull this entire thing off after 6 months of planning, that we could pull this entire thing off in exactly 1 3-hour rehearsal the day of the concert is an amazing feat.
The rehearsal was the same day as the concert?
Yeah, we rehearsed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we put the concert on at 7. And they started building the arena, putting the floor down, building the stage, setting up everything at about 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
Oh, my Lord. I mean, that's amazing to me because, I mean, you don't have a lot of time to, if you're doing one rehearsal, you don't have a lot of time to adjust anything by the time showtime happens.
Right. We just had to realize that people were going to do their job, and we hired the best professionals we could. And it was just an amazing feat that it actually came off.
Well, and the thing that impressed me, it was a laser show, it was a video show, it was a ballet, you had the acrobats, the Cirque du Soleil, and then what I enjoyed, quite frankly, was obviously the RPO, but you wrote a suite just for the occasion, right?
Right. I created the Eclipse Suite, which was music about space, and Troupe Vertigo ran with that and created a whole aerial ballet and some other things to be part of it. And actually, I love the encore of the whole program where we had this gospel choir from the city and all the performers on stage, and 2 of the Cirque guys, one of them dressed as an astronaut, was flying over the concert as we sang Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the whole audience was singing.
Yeah. No, everybody got into the spirit of this thing, and they just went crazy, which is what I love. It was all the performers were just blown away by the opportunity to do this, and it was really thrilling to collaborate with everybody.
Well, you have to have an endorphin hit from this. I mean, being involved in this. I mean, that's got to last a long time, right?
I'm still flying to the moon, and there's a rule in my house. I can only talk about something for 4 days, and then we have to stop. So I'm violating that today. But no, listen. I am just so thankful that we actually pulled it off. So
Well, and it's such a great asset for Rochester. People talk about Rochester, and some people, talk about the weather in the sky and stuff. But what a great asset the RPO is. And the other thing I'm looking at, when you had like 7,500 people there, or 7,000 people, or thereabouts, and a lot of these people probably have never been to Rochester before, and they got a taste of what this city is like, and that's just good for all of us.
This was just great for the city, also really fantastic for the orchestra, and the benefits go far beyond what we imagined. So, yeah, it really turned out well, and I'm excited about the press and everybody who just fell in love with what we were doing. So, yeah, it was a great experience.
Well, I have a suggestion for you. I think you should do this every year. We're not going to have an eclipse, but we have a solstice every year. So you do the summer solstice.
Yeah.
do exactly the same thing. As long as you make a little bit of money on it,
I think at some point we'll do a big event again, but it's going to be a while. So,
yeah, no, thank you. And like I said, everybody, Jeff is an inductee of the Music Hall of Fame. The show or induction ceremony is on May 5th, which happens to be a Sunday. They still have tickets available. And Jeff, I'm sure you'll be there. Well, you're probably in that building like 7 days a week, I would think.
I'm there a lot, but if I can't, I think next week I'm actually conducting the Detroit Symphony, so I'll be there in spirit.
How many different orchestras do you conduct?
Well, I have 3 outside of Rochester I conduct on a regular basis: Dallas, Detroit, and the Oregon Symphony. But this year I got to conduct the New York Philharmonic.
Wow.
In September, and I'm going to conduct the Philadelphia Orchestra in June. So, I conduct other orchestras as well.
Oh, God bless you. I'm going to have you on for another whole hour show.
We'll do it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jeff. You have a good day.
My great pleasure. Thank you for doing this great broadcast in Rochester. Take care.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this. Hey, gang, if you're looking for something to do today, the Red Wings are playing at 1:05. If you can't make that, well, they're playing tomorrow at 1:05. Today, if you go there, you could always saunter over to Canandaigua to the Fort Hill Performing Arts Center. And this evening, 7:30, there is a show called Beck-Ola, celebrating the music of Jeff Beck, sponsored by the Fanatics Pub and Blues Stage, which I love so much. So get up and go to these things. Okay, everybody, we have our next guest on the phone from L.A. A person has become a good friend of mine. And we usually talk to people that have gotten Grammys. This fella is a Rochester person. I think he identifies as a Rochester person of all things. He's living in L.A. now. And his name is Jack Allocco. And last we talked, you had 11 Emmys. Did you get the 12th? Or, I mean,
no. No, unfortunately, still at 11 and holding.
Okay. Now you can't be disappointed with that. I mean, that's now the Oscar. Everybody knows the Oscar because it's that guy with the sword and he's standing there naked and everything. Right. Now the Emmys, that's that flying lady thing, right? It's
an angel holding a globe. Basically.
Oh, okay. Which is different than the Golden Globes, which is just a globe. Now you have 11 of them. Now let me ask you a stupid question. That's because that's pretty much all I do. Do they each have a name? Do you name them when you get them? Do you have 11 names for them?
No, I'm afraid not. No, and it's interesting. They're over the years, they're actually different. I want to say colors, but different tones of gold, and they weigh different things, so they're kind of inconsistent. It's kind of interesting thing. I don't know where they are actually made or so on, but over the years, they're actually very slightly different, I would say. In weight and color. It's kind of weird.
Okay. I know what this really means. Sometimes I say, "What does somebody say?" and what are they actually saying? So over the years, they've cheaped out on them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Are any of them?
You didn't hear that from me.
Are any of them turning green? That would be the number one thing.
I'd have to check. They're actually in a closet, so I don't know. I'd have to go check.
Oh, you don't have those in a closet. Don't tell me that. You have they have to be out in your dining room or something or other. I mean,
no, actually they're not. They're not.
Really?
No. I had 1 or 2 out for a bit, but no, I don't have them displayed. I have to say, but I try to look forward. I mean, not that I'm not, of course, very proud of it, but I have friends that have gold records and so on, and they have them all over the place, and it's kind of like, okay. I have friends who have Grammys, and they keep them in the bathroom. I'm not making that up. They actually have the Grammy on top of the toilet because I'm told everybody wants to touch one, but they're a little self-conscious, so they put it in a private room like a bathroom so a guest can actually hold it. If you follow me.
But then
I haven't done that.
Then you got to make sure you wipe them down every day.
I guess so.
So for those people that don't know, let's tell people how you got these Emmys. It's Bold and the Beautiful and The Young and the Restless mainly, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I think. Mostly for the main title, dramatic underscore, all the music in the background that's, sad, sexy, dangerous, depressing, whatever, all that music. And then I have
I have 2 for a song, for best song, which is also kind of a whole different category. So I have, I guess, 9 for score and 2 for song.
And what are the songs? Can we go to Apple Music and get these songs? Or
well, I don't know. There's songs that appeared in the show, in the context of the show, that I wrote specifically. They have to be written specifically for that show, which I did. And, and then it's another category for the Emmys, best song. And I was fortunate enough to win 2 of those. So,
God bless you. And you're a Rochester guy. You identify as that's what the show is. I mean, we're talking to mainly people that really identify as Rochester guys here. You, Gene, Scott Mayo's getting inducted this year. He's another LA guy from here.
Absolutely. Born and raised on Clifford Avenue. Yeah. I'm a Rochester guy.
And doing a little retail for the Music Hall of Fame. It's coming up May 5th, I think. And I mean, it's a heck of a presentation. Now, will you be out in town for that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am going to be in town for that. And I'm actually sponsored a scholarship for they're going to be presenting at the Hall of Fame to it's the Douglas Lowry Award, and it goes to an outstanding high school student who studying music, continue their study of music. So I've donated the scholarship, and I think I'm going to be presenting it at the event. Yes, I'll be there.
Wonderful. We'll see you then. And if somebody wants to have a dish of chicken piccata, where can they get it in Rochester? Where is that place?
I know it well. Yeah, your home. Absolutely.
I just wanted to prove everybody that I actually do know you. Well,
absolutely.
Well, Jack, thank you very much for being who you are, doing what you do, and being good enough to talk to somebody like me.
Absolutely. No, I consider you a dear friend, and I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, we'll see you then, and maybe a little saltimbocca next time you come up.
Sounds great.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to do that with Dreddo.
I love it. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you. We're going to pause now for a message or two. This is Dom from our good friends at McClurg Auto Group in Perry. I called on probably 450 dealers when I was a Chrysler rep. I was always impressed with dealerships where the dealer himself cared about his customers, gave you a great deal, and was there if you needed him. John McClurg is one of those guys. You're closer than you think to a great no-nonsense deal. It's right in front of you. McClurgChevy.com or McClurg-ChryslerDodgeJeep.com. Visit them today. This section of the No Nonsense Roundtable is brought to you by, the No Nonsense Roundtable. You see, at the No Nonsense Roundtable, we do marketing for different organizations, and let me give you an example. Here's an ad that we did for the Rotary Sunshine Camp just recently, and it was voiced by Don Alhart.
It's a magical place for kids of all abilities.
At no charge, the Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp has been serving children of all abilities for the last 100 years. Help us grow into the next 100 years. Go to sunshinecamp.org to learn more about how you can help.
Where kids have no barriers to fun. The Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp.
We do all sorts of things, mainly for smaller companies. So if you'd like to investigate the possibility of us doing some work for you, contact me at nononsenseroundtable.com. This is Don from my friends at Jack Greco Furniture. You drive your car, you live with your furniture. That's why Nina and I buy our furniture locally from Jack Greco. Hey, lots of old name manufacturers of furniture switch to mass production, producing their furniture, who knows where. Why settle for that? Jack has quality pieces made by true craftsmen, and if you need a custom piece, Jack can happily do that. End of season's upon us. Jack has quality outdoor furniture you won't find anywhere else. Go to jackgreco.com for more info. Well, welcome back to the No Nonsense Roundtable. Now, I have somebody on the phone with me that everybody knows, and as the theme of the show goes, this is a fellow who is a recent inductee of the Rochester Music Hall of Fame, which is coming up very soon, as we know, and I think that the best way to explain this gentleman is that if I was to describe a song and I was to put somebody with this song, it would be My Way. Remember My Way? I did it my way. It's Brother Wease. Brother Wease, welcome to the show. I'm not going to sing My Way, but I think that's kind of sums up the way you have lived your life. How you doing?
Well, that's really funny. I was just telling somebody about, I was at the Record Archive last Friday. On Fridays, they have the Finally Friday happy hour. Have you been to Record Archive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, records on top of records, yeah.
But I mean, have you been to the bar and the room in the back where they have live music and parties?
Well, yeah, I've been there just once, but years and years ago. But I know where it is. A very cool area, yeah.
Well, on Fridays, they have Finally Friday happy hours with entertainment. And I was in town for 4 days. I'm living in Fort Lauderdale for 9 months a year. So I just had to go to my grandson's big first birthday party. So we had to fly in 4 days. So we went to the Finally Friday, and two guys approached me that were old producers of mine, and I couldn't recognize them because they got old. But we ended up having a great time talking, and they wanted to know a little bit about the history. And My Way was the thing, because I used to get yelled at the beginning of my situation. And I used to tell my partner at the time, don't fight with the management, just agree, and then we won't do it. We'll just do it our way.
My way.
And then as long as we had ratings, they couldn't tell us what to do. So we would pretend we would, but you do it your way, my way.
Well, I'm looking at the website. I'm doing a little bit of freshening up on my research about you, and there's some questions here. And let's see, iHeart says Wease is a National Radio Hall of Famer, which is true. Has dominated the Rochester radio market for years. And I love this statement. His unique perspective on today's topics and yesterday's stories, and goes blah blah. His unique perspective. That's like when somebody asks you what somebody looks like, and they tell you they have a really great personality, a unique perspective. Why don't you describe what you think that? Why does iHeart say you have a unique perspective?
Well, I guess if people follow a cookie cutter way of doing things, and if someone like myself comes in, but since I've been doing morning radio for 40 years, everybody does it my way now. I mean, at the beginning, of course, Howard Stern used to accuse me of copying him, when the fact of the matter is he copied a friend of mine from Chicago, Steve Dahl, and I never heard Howard Stern. I mean, he tried to tell people he's a liar, but he tried to tell people I listened to him in Philadelphia. I was already in Rochester when he was syndicated to Philadelphia. But now, everybody does radio the way we did it. But when I went in, my show was unique. It was unique. They had the pirate radio. They had a morning, what do they call it, zoo. They had morning zoos, and all that stuff. But for the grace of God, I could be rich, because it came down. I was headhunted for a morning show in Los Angeles, and it was so interesting because the guy that was doing it didn't want air checks. He wanted me to do a cassette where I just talked to him, and I did it. And I was never interested in leaving Rochester, but I figured if LA happened, I would have to do it. So he called me one day and said, it's down to you and two guys from Little Rock, Arkansas. I went, what? I mean, I couldn't believe that. And they got the job, Mark and Brian, on KLOS. I thought it might have been Alabama, but I'm pretty sure I was shocked about Little Rock. But anyway, I always knew that if I got that job, I would have killed. Because at the time, only because it's not bragging, it's just that only at that time in Los Angeles, all they had were top 40 morning zoos and the same crap. Mark and Brian, who took the job that I could have had, were free radio like I do and they do. And they killed. They killed.
Well,
and but it's just, but now everybody does it. Everybody.
Well, one of the things I learned from you when I first had you on the show is we were talking about ratings, and you said, I've repeated this many, many times since I talked to you. You said whoever's listening to you, you're number one to them. Says whether it's this guy or that guy, you're number one to them. So you're concerned with the ratings, but you're more concerned with your family, your radio family that knows you and loves you and turns you on when you're on the air. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that, because I look at my Nielsen ratings, they seem to be good. But you know what? If they're listening to you, they like you, and who can tell how many friends you have is one better than the other, right?
Well, it's a funny thing to talk about ratings, because the methodology is scary. It's all scary. But my first year on the radio, on morning radio, the first ratings, TV came in, news to interview me. And I always used to have a nightmare that I would get a 0. If they go to the they only take a small bunch of people. I could have got a 0, but I ended up doing really, really good for a long period of time.
Well, you're your own man, and it really does come through that Wease is Wease. He's his own man, and I think that's what your brand is too. I mean, so let's do a little bit of retail here. We have the Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony happening at the 5th at the Kodak Hall at the Eastman Theater. Now, last year, tell me about your presentation last year. I mean, when you got inducted.
Well, here's the funny part of it. I brought Joan Osborne, a friend of mine, who performed, and so I had a lot of people come to see me be inducted. I don't mean the room; I mean friends of mine that came and listeners. So I get up there, and I don't think I spoke 5 minutes, and my buddy Tony Gross gives me the hook. I said, "Bro, you giving me the hook?" He said, "Yeah." And meanwhile, I got Joan Osborne getting ready to play on my behalf. So then after she played, he let me come back again. But I have to tell you, and I don't know if you'll keep this in the broadcast, the reason that happened was that the induction before mine, which was either I think they had to skip a year for COVID or something. But the induction before mine, a certain fella spoke for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. So they decided to give, which is a smart thing. People don't want to sit in that theater for 4 hours. So that was a smart thing to give a time limit. But whoa. people that came to see me, because I had a lot of jokes ready.
Yeah.
But it was a great night, because my good friends, the Majestics, got inducted that night. And, I used to be with them I'm not in the band, but Ronnie Stackman was actually the best man at one of my weddings. And we went on our honeymoon. That's from the Majestics.
So you live in Florida now. How often?
9 months.
Well, yeah, that's the way you avoid the income taxes from New York, right?
Well, that's not the reason.
You and Golisano. So
yeah, and a lot of
other people. Yes, that's exactly right. So when are we going to see you in Rochester next?
I will come in early June and stay till mid-September.
Oh, good. Well, I hope to see you then, and I really do appreciate your kindness and your friendship to me over these years I've known you, and you're one of a kind in the best possible way. So I appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every weekend from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.